of the preseason. Now, Saleh originally said he didn't expect Rodgers to play. Aaron said that was news to him, and now he agrees. Take a listen.
Do you want to play in preseason? Do you want to get out there? Do you want to feel the rush again before that?
I don't know. Not really. I mean, I don't think I need to. As long as I'm making the right reactions in practice, I think I obviously didn't get to play a whole lot last year. That's kind of a joke.
Yeah.
But I was able to be back in practice, I think, so I didn't miss the entire year.
Okay, so here's his history in the preseason, recent history. With McCarthy, he was playing in the preseason. With LaFleur, he was not. And last year, he played a little bit against the Giants. So, Greg, do you think it's a good idea not to play in the preseason?
He needs to play.
Oh, okay.
I think if you're the Jets, based on what your experience was last year, you're cautious and you're like, no, we're not going to play him. But he needs to play. And this is not just based off of Aaron Rodgers himself. This is based off of the other 10 guys. And primarily the receivers, the tackles, the offensive line, the center. It's one thing, and Coach, you can speak to this. It's one thing to develop chemistry in practice and to hear cadence in practice and to be on the same page in practice against your defense, another scheme possibly that your defensive guys are running. But you can't emulate another guy competing, trying to go after your quarterback. Another guy that doesn't care if you get this completion or staying off of the receiver or keeping him up and determining whether or not he's going to get to his depth, or trying to prevent all these timing things that need to happen, that need to be seen to take place off field, not in just practice, but in the game. There is a difference. And so none of these guys have experienced that with him. This dates back when prior to his last year in Green Bay. I don't think anybody's like, yeah, he doesn't need to play. Why? Because it was a constant. There was relationship, rapport, all the things. Once he decided not to show up with those young guys in the offseason, I thought then he needs to practice. He needs to play. Coming over to the Jets last year, there's no rapport on the field of play. It is one thing, again, I will repeat, to do it in practice. It is a completely different thing to go up against live bullets. And so when they don't hear what you're going to truly check to, when the crowd noise is a little different, when the signals have to be adjusted at the last minute and it's not boosted in crowd noise and nonverbal communication needs to take place and you need to tap the line. No, go right. All those things happen at the line of scrimmage once you see the defense shift in game. You can't always mimic everything in practice.
Yeah, the thing that you're talking about is the greater good. And the greater good, and he doesn't care. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about the other 10 guys. He cares about himself. And with Tom Brady, Tom was coachable. Tom wanted to be coached. And even though Tom was the greatest at that position, he was open to ideas that could make him better. But for Aaron, he is just going to do whatever he wants to do, whatever's best for him. You other 10 guys, if it's not good for you, if it's not good for the coaching staff, if it's not good for anybody else, it doesn't matter because it's just about him.
So what, Wilds?
I'm just,
Coach is fired up. Coach chose violence.
How many times we have to listen like, yeah, I'm just going to do it. It's just other ways of saying, I'm going to do whatever I want to do. I coach the team. I run the team. And I'm the best player there is, so whatever.
So here's the two questions I have.
Yeah.
The first one is, why would it have been the plan last year and not this year?
I agree.
I just want consistency of thought and plan. Same coaching staff, right? You know what I mean? Rodgers is, in my opinion, just as new. It would be one if he played a full season last year, and then it's like, okay, last year you were new to the team, this year you're not. So if the plan was last year for him to get just those limited reps but some reps, I would think it would be the same plan this year after 4 plays in the regular season. The other thing that I think the audience and average football fans, they have no reason to know this, but probably think the opposite is true. Nat Hackett has never called plays for Aaron Rodgers. He was the offensive coordinator, but Matt LaFleur was calling those plays. The only four...
And he really isn't calling them now.
Well, okay, but somebody is. Aaron might change him, but the person in his headset is going to be Nat Hackett. Aaron's got 4 plays of experience with that, and one of them, tragically ended in a torn Achilles. The point I'm making is, I think play caller, quarterback, game rapport, to your point, is important. I also think it matters their first games against the Niners.
Yeah.
All of this to me speaks to a guy who has played, let's just include last year's preseason, okay? Has had 14 live bullet snaps since January of 23. And we are now, right, that would be it? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we're now going to be, it's probably the least football he's played in a 19-month stretch since he was 7 years old.
Okay. So listen, the reason why it's not the same from last year into this year, that's not saying that trying to highlight as being inconsistent makes no sense because it's the same coaches, the same this. It's a different circumstance. You are not the same person last year into this year. You do not do the exact same things that you did last year to this year. Things change, especially when you're an athlete, especially as you're getting older, especially when you're rehabbing and coming back from an injury. So no, it's not. It's not the same thing. And by not doing the same thing, that doesn't mean that you're being inconsistent. It means you're changing the game plan. You're changing the approach. What it takes for Aaron Rodgers to get ready this season is vastly different than what it has been in years past. And yes, the Jets did suffer that tragic loss, last season with Aaron, first 4 plays of the game. They don't want to relive that. So they are going to be extra cautious, having him not practice in wet weather, having him, not do preseason. The whole thing is risk reward. When you are someone as great as Aaron and you're also trying to preserve him and extend his career, it's risk reward. You're going to be more conservative. And for some reason, they want to only point out that for Aaron as such a bad thing when we have seen Tom Brady do the same thing, talking about changing practices, cold weather practices, things of that nature. LeBron James, right? We see the two players that we use as kind of the frame of reference of what's possible from longevity standpoint. And those two players absolutely positively changed the way they played, practiced, and approached the game as they've gotten older. But when Aaron does it, it's somehow the worst thing ever, especially coming back from an intense injury like an Achilles tear. That is inconsistent. That is inconsistent. And it's not fair. And again, the risk reward, everything that Greg Jennings is saying is absolutely correct in terms of what you can gain from playing, getting these live reps and playing in the preseason. But also, having a couple drives is not going to have a measurable impact. It's just not. Doing that in a couple drives in a preseason game is just not going to matter. If they were saying, hey, Aaron Rodgers should play the whole game or a whole half, then I could maybe understand that. I can see that. But again, it's risk reward. I don't think that the reward is high enough. And you will have faith that Aaron will be able to figure it out. That's why you're paying for him. That's why you're giving him all the power. You are putting faith in Aaron Rodgers. And if you don't believe in Aaron Rodgers, that he's capable of doing that, well, then you're lost anyway. It's like saying, I'm not going to get LeBron. I'm not going to get Patrick Mahomes. I'm not going to get Tom Brady, and not expect them to be who they are. When you go and get Aaron Rodgers, you're not just getting him for strictly his arm mechanics. You're getting him because you think of all of these things he can do. You're paying for him, giving him this power because you're saying, we are giving you these things because we trust that, one, you're going to be healthy and be able to play into your older age, 2, we believe in your ability to mentally understand football, call plays, quite frankly, run that offense. And 3, be able to work with the players around you. If you don't believe in those things, then you don't believe in Aaron Rodgers. And if you don't believe in Aaron Rodgers, well, then you're not going to have him as a quarterback. So there has to be trust here. That's the agreement that you're getting into with Aaron. And if they want to now kind of just keep saying, well, Aaron Rodgers is not that guy, well, then if he's not, then the Jets were never going to be successful. And if you want to make the argument, kind of what Mangini's trying to say, I feel, is that he's a great player, but if he just kind of didn't need all these things and he would be even better, like a Tom Brady, I would argue, yes, I totally agree, and Aaron could have done that earlier in his career, but that is not who Tom Brady was at the end of his career. He just wasn't. He forced his head coach off the team, got a promotion to, the front office. He completely ran that offense in those last couple years, or last year, or however long it was. He was going to weddings and stuff. He was skipping things. He was a changed player. Now, yes, Tom Brady had wildly more success. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. I will take Tom Brady over Aaron Rodgers any day of the week. But they both earned the right to be able to be who they are, as my alarm goes off. They both earned the right to make those decisions, to be those types of players later in their career. It's also a testament to just how great they are on the field. The Jets have been nothing for years and years and years. So it's not that much of a gamble to say, you know what? We are going to give the reins over to Aaron Rodgers. We believe he's a savant. We believe he is an NFL genius. Let's see what he can do offensively. Let's see what he can do with a coordinator who is going to greatly listen to him. What happens when Aaron truly has the reins? When he gets to control that offense? When he gets to make the decisions? Let's see what he can do. Because we've let Tom Brady do it. We've let LeBron James do it. So let's go. Let's see what he can do. He's earned that right. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the history of the NFL. That's the reality. And he was able to do that with a head coach like Mike McCarthy. I got news for you guys. Mike McCarthy is not one of the greatest coaches in the NFL. When Mike McCarthy retires, and we fast forward 30 years from now in the NFL, people are not even going to really remember who Mike McCarthy is. And that's no disrespect to McCarthy. They'll remember Bill Belichick. They'll remember Andy Reid. They're not really going to remember Mike McCarthy all that much. He's just going to be a name that they see, on the screen. Who was the coach of the Packers who won with Aaron Rodgers in 2000 and whatever? Oh, Mike McCarthy. That's what you'll see. It'll just be a name written on the screen. That's it. And yet Aaron Rodgers still had an insanely prolific career. He deserves credit for that. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think? Do you agree that Aaron Rodgers doesn't need to play in preseason? Do you think that Aaron Rodgers should have all this power? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.